Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this second ever Break the Rock podcast. I'm Trey Bloomer of the Saint Sports Network. I've got Mike Sanders with me and Fat Maris.
That's right, Fat Maris.
Love it. That's what he wants to be called from now on. We're now coming back to you as always. I say as always. This is the second one we've ever done, but let's go with it anyway. Let's go, guys. What are our big news since last time we came on here?
Well, first thing we got going off, we got both golf teams just breaking into the national rankings this year, which hasn't happened in a little while.
No, they both did it last year.
I don't know if they were this high.
Nah.
I don't know if they were this high. Women are sitting at 18th right now in the national rankings. Men sitting at 24th. Trey, talk a little bit about what the golf team has been doing this year.
Well, really, the golf team has just picked right up where they left off last year. As Mikey pointed out, the women are 18th in the country, and they're led by sophomore Brittany Lapadula and junior Hannah Luckett. Both of them are averaging right around a 3 over par 75 through the 3 tournaments they've already played so far. Their rankings are coming off like a 4th place at the Smoky Mountain Intercollegiate and a 3rd at both the Lady Bearcat and very recently at the Myrtle Beach Intercollegiate up at Sunset Beach, North Carolina. And then, in that last one, the Myrtle Beach Intercollegiate, they played against the top teams in the South and Southeast region. And I don't know if a lot of fans know this, but in the women's golf world, the South-Southeast region is the most stacked. I mean, you look at the Division II Top 25, it's the who's who of this region. So to be there, to be with the top teams in the region, bodes well after they probably unduly got left out a year ago. Now looking over at the men, they got it at 24th in the country. So right now, Junior Griffin Brown from Hollis, New Hampshire, is absolutely just tearing it up through 3 tournaments. He is at an even par 72. But right next to him, there's 4 guys coming in right behind him. They're all averaging around 75. And right now, with Clayton Presson coming in just a hair under 75 average. They won the Smoky Mountain Intercollegiate, and they finished top 3 at the J. Jennison Memorial. So that's the men's and women's golf teams. They're coming in. Congratulations to Coach Seaford and his men's and women's teams right now. Off to a hot start again. Again, just really picking off where they left last year.
Yeah, I tell you, those averages are really impressive. Even when I get my mulligans on the course, I don't hit a 75 ever.
I think I saw Fat over there. He had a 68 recently, right?
Yeah, I had a 68, and I decided not to play the back 9. So
there it is.
That was my 68, and not to mention it was a par 3.
You lied to me. I would have brought that up in the
That was not a lie. It was an exaggerated truth.
You never specified that it was 68 on 18. You just said I shot at 68.
No.
Go into our second news. Big news around campus right now is field hockey.
Well, field hockey for the 3rd straight week came in still at number 5 in the country. Had a big win against Kutztown, 1-0, and they ran into a national powerhouse that is Westchester, number 3 in the land. They traveled to Pennsylvania for that game. Coach Jackson had her ladies ready, and Westchester didn't have any of it. They executed brilliantly on offense. Their defense was stellar. And it really gave our girls a chance to see the upper echelon of teams that come from the north. Field hockey in the South is still trying to, become big and popular. And Limestone has a good team. But when you get up to the north, that's where the stacked teams are. Our girls, they hung in for the most part. They were only down 1-0 at halftime. And 3-goal outburst in the second half kind of doomed us. But they didn't get their heads down. I talked to a few of the players. I've got classes with a couple of them. I talked to them. And they're really looking forward to Lindenwood tomorrow, 1 o'clock. And that's going to be
Senior Day.
Senior Day.
You couldn't even think of what the word Senior Day was. Come on.
Because you're never reaching Senior Day, are you?
No, I'm
Van Lauder playing, baby.
But that will be the Senior Day for the ladies.
I think it's important to point out that Westchester's a good team. Not only did they beat us, number 5 in the country, but they also beat, number 3 defending national champion Shippensburg. So we lost 1-0 a week ago, but
and
that's a good team.
They only fell 1-0 to the number 1 team in the land right now, Millersville.
Which, by the way, We got coming up.
We have, yeah, of course, we have coming up with our brutal schedule that we have. But back to the Lindenwood game, as we mentioned before, that's going to be a rematch of the ECAC tournament championship from last year, and our girls are really looking forward to going out and trying to prove something. Lindenwood actually made their appearance in Gaffney today, so they're really excited about the match as well, and I think it's gonna be a replay of the great contest that we saw last year.
With, of course, you thinking the Saints are going to come out on top there, or?
I'm not thinking that they are. I know that they are, but if they don't, Coach Jackson, sorry. But no, she has our girls ready. No matter what is thrown in front of them, the adversity, our girls are just, I mean, they're up there with the top teams in the country. And the number 5 ranking 3 weeks in a row, even though, they lost 2 games in that span, it really shows something about our team and keeping that ranking at number 5.
Definitely big thing for the field hockey team. All right, next thing we got coming up here, big news. Tom McCready.
Who's that?
Former men's soccer player here at Limestone. I really enjoyed watching him my 5 years here so far.
And he's not even a doctor.
He's not even a doctor.
Or maybe.
Not yet, no. But he made his professional debut over where, Matt Ferris?
With the Shrimpies.
With the Shrimps, yeah, overseas though.
He
right?
is overseas, not over the lakes like PJ Foster. He is overseas.
Yeah, he's actually overseas with Morecambe FC.
The Shrimpies.
The Shrimps.
We are not making that up.
We're not making that up. No, they're actually the Shrimps. Morecambe FC Shrimps. But he started playing there Tuesday on October 7th. Played about 15 minutes there. And then he's been starting to make his progress to earning more minutes. And right now, the Shrimps are sitting at 7th place in their league, and they're up for promotion at the end of the year if they keep working the same way they are.
And it's always great to see some of the alum coming out of Limestone moving on to play professionally. I mean, it really speaks volumes to the sports programs that we have on campus.
Speaks credit to what Coach Eric Ossoff's been doing here. I mean, to finally, we have so many guys that are coming over from England, and to have one of ours now playing over in England, playing professionally, that's a credit to him and a credit to the program. And I think we want to point out a little bit, Mike, where is Morecambe?
Well, Morecambe is on the western coast of England itself. It's about in the northwest, so it's right on the ocean there.
Not too far from Scotland.
Not too far from Scotland at all, actually, and but it's supposed to be a pretty nice area up there. I've obviously never been, but
you sound like you've been there before.
well, I mean, I've seen pictures. Wikipedia is a great resource when we're looking.
And I'm assuming it's a big shrimping area.
I'm gonna have to assume, right?
It's in the Morecambe Bay.
Yeah, it's in Morecambe Bay, right there in northwest England. Right in the Lancaster district. So, I don't know. It's gonna.
Are you sure it's Lancaster or Lancaster?
I don't.
What do you think they say?
Your guess is as good as mine. I know it's not Leicester, so. But no, yeah, Tom's excited about getting some work in over there. He knows he's got to work a little bit harder to get more playing time, but he's having fun, and it's always nice to see, like Matt was saying, or sorry, Fat was saying, it's always nice to see a Saints and professionals.
Well, that's a perfect segue into our next segment, which is when we're going to go spin around the rock a little bit. This is where we're going to go. As the sound effects coming over here from Mike. This is where we're going to go each week. We're going to try to touch on 2 to 3 teams in particular that we feel that are the most evident over the past week. This week we're going to focus into number 1. We're going right into men's soccer. Since we finished up with Tom McCready, men's soccer right now continuing the fabulous season that they've had so far. Big 3-0 victory at Southern Wesleyan this past Saturday, October 11th. Then they backed it up with another 3-0 win over Keene on Wednesday night. Boys, they are really playing well right now.
Yeah, it's impressive to look at the national level again with our men's soccer team. They moved back up into number 11 spot in the national rankings over this past week, which speaks volumes about what Coach Alsop is putting together out there on the field. Sure, we lost to Wingate, who also moved up in the national rankings to number 19. So as they continue moving up as well, we're going to continue to see, hey, look, Limestone lost to number 19. Oh, wait, this week they lost to number 17 instead. And we're going to see Limestone keep picking up in the national rankings. But still, it just shows how much confidence Coach Alsop has in this team and saying, we're gonna put our boys out there every week, and we're gonna go out and we're gonna win games, and that's what they've been doing. 3-0 win, Southern Wesleyan. Harry Cooksley finished with a pair of goals there. Third straight game with at least one goal there when they picked up on Southern Wesleyan. Trey, talk a little bit about how those goals were scored, if you don't mind.
Yeah, one moment, please. They opened it up. Actually, most of the scoring all the scoring at Southern Wesleyan over in Central South Carolina. First year, as we mentioned last week, first year back in the Conference Carolinas. At the 68th minute, Cooksley scored off an assist from Thomas King. Exactly 1 minute later, Sam Ward scored off a free kick from Joe Pegg on a header. And then right at, just 10 minutes later, the 80th minute, Harry Cooksley got a second goal off of William Paku assist, where he beat the defense on the left flank and got an easy goal right there. And that's how the Saints did it. But something to keep in mind for this game, there was 8 yellow cards in this game. It was really
yellow cards. Great.
It was a really physical game. I talked to Coach Alsop not too long after the game. He just mentioned Southern Wesleyan. The Limestone is what they are. They're number 11 team in the country, and Southern Wesleyan knew that, and they took it like that they were going to do that. And the game got really physical, a little chippy. The emotions flared, and that's what you see in times like that.
Well, when you see a team coming in on your home turf, and they've got that number to the left of their name, you know for a fact that team is going to give you their best shot. They're not going to just let you come in. Oh, they're number 11. Let's just buckle and they can have it. No, they're going to give you their. And even though the outcome's 3-0, I mean, Southern Wesleyan fought hard.
Yeah,
We have a stellar program.
Definitely, just like Trey was saying, all the scoring came in the second half.
At about a 12-minute period.
And yeah, so it could have been that they just a little shaken after the first goal, just didn't recover as quickly as they wanted to because the goal was scored about a minute afterwards.
Well, exactly 1 minute.
Exactly 1 minute, and then they recovered a little bit better the next time, and were able to hold them off for about another 10 minutes until we pushed them another one back. But still, to hold the number 11 team in the Saints to no scores in the first half, it's a big thing for Southern Wesleyan.
And because of that, the 2 goals that Harry Cooksley scored, along with the game winner that we've already mentioned talking about, Lees McCray, the exciting game that we were all, the big text messages back and forth to each other. Harry Cooksley got actually named ECAC Offensive Player of the Week, Division II Offensive Player of the Week. So, a little tip of the hat
to
Mr. Cooksley.
Indeed.
And then we'll go right into that. The Saints not only get the 3-0 win over Southern Wesleyan Wednesday night here at the Rock, another 3-0 win, this time over King University.
Yeah. That was a really nice win there again, even though I don't think Coach Alsop thought that the boys played their best game out there. It seemed like he was kind of a little frustrated with what was going on out on the field. But, a 3-1 victory, you still can't complain too much about that.
No, and then we'll go through that real quick. Limestone drew the first blood in the 6th minute as senior midfielder Sam Ward took a feed from freshman midfielder Harry Cooksley on the right side of the box, blasted into the left corner, 1-0 lead. Ward quickly got back into action again in the 17th minute. As he went down the left flank, he kind of shrugged off the King defender.
Yeah.
With a nice little nifty move. Then he just drove down, shot it in the box, and all Horry had to do was not mess it up. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty academic goal. Quickly, the Saints are up 2-0, and then of course they get the third one in the 63rd minute when sophomore defender. I always screw this up. Bjorn. I apologize, Mr. Rolstad. Earned a free kick just outside the box in the 63rd minute. He crossed the ball to the goal line along the far left post, along the goal line, and Lalena, all he do is reach out his left foot and boom.
Which means if he reached out his left foot, he was probably standing at the top of the box and just kind of.
Don't call him Cavs for no reason. So.
He's a really good player, but no, that was a beautiful goal. It was about the last ditch effort on the far post as well, to where if Lalena didn't get a foot on it, it was going out for the goal kick.
Oh,
it was just a beautiful play there to get that last goal.
He set it up. It's like he just rolled across the goal line, and all he did is reach out that big old left foot at the far post and knocked it on in.
Yeah, that's great. Especially in this conference schedule we're looking at here. 2 big wins over Southern Wesleyan and King. Looking forward here into the conference tournament coming up here pretty soon. Saints are pretty solidly set in first place right now in the conference. And if we take down Emmanuel coming up here next week, we basically secure the regular season championship, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah, let's go through that a little bit. Emmanuel, another first-year program like Southern Wesleyan, we host them next Tuesday night, October 21st, here at the Rock at 5 p.m. If the Saints were to win that game, they will move to 12-1 overall, 8-0 in the league. Now, why we say that is because right now the 2 teams right behind them are Byford and Barton, both at 5-2 and 4-2 respectively. The key thing here is Limestone holds the tiebreaker over them.
Yeah.
So while they're only 2 back in the loss column, it may as well be 3 with the tiebreaker. So with 3 games to go, if Limestone takes the win against Emmanuel, who's currently 2-4 overall in the conference, 2-3, they pretty much will lock it up. Get the number 1 seed, host a conference tournament here at the Rock, where they have not lost and rarely been challenged. To be quite frank with you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're setting ourselves right up to at least, at minimum, be the number 2 seed in the South region and host the first 2 rounds. And just like that, gentlemen, we're right back into NCAAs. And this team, who I would argue is deeper than a year ago, like we talked about last week, are set up to make a long run. Now, the key thing in front of them is not trying to get too far ahead of ourselves, but if we're allowed to do that, we can peek ahead a little bit. If they get in there, they play the South region, they're going to have to, at some point, probably get through Young Harris.
Yeah.
Who's number 5 in the nation, out of Georgia. This is their first year that they're eligible. They would have been a host last year had they been eligible as they were making their transition from a junior college. But they're there. They're lurking. So while you got the task ahead of you, coaching staff, you can't let the players look at it. The coaching staff get their eye. They have to have their eye.
Yeah, it's kind of like the 1984 kind of thing. Big Brother's watching over you at all times. That's kind of how I'm thinking of Young Harris with the men's soccer team at this point. They know it's there. They're trying to ignore it. But when it comes around to confront them, they're going to have to go all out. And it's going to be a great matchup if we ever reach to that point to go head-to-head with them.
So, yeah, I think that pretty well covers our men's soccer guys. Anything else you want to talk about our boys on the pitch?
I'm good. I like them. They're beautiful.
Well, we'll stay here on the pitch. We'll move to our topic number 2. And we'll go to the women's soccer team. Also had another big week out there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, went down to Southern Wesleyan same day as the men did. They got a 2-0 victory there. And then Wednesday here as well at the Rock, got a 3-2 victory over King. So those are another 2 very good games there in conference for the women. And just like the men, they are undefeated at home as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about protecting the Rock this year, let me tell you.
Our boss, Ernest Myers, constantly references to us. We haven't lost but 1 game ever since we put the new turf field down, and that was unfortunate women's lacrosse at Lindenwood. But our men's lacrosse, our men's soccer, women's soccer have not lost at home, and that's a real thing now. It's a thing. The night games, louder crowd, you just don't come in here and win.
No, I'm really going to get excited when we put the grandstands up on the other side of the turf and everything. We get our nice press spots so we don't have to freeze out there or anything like that. But it's going to be a completely different atmosphere up there at Saints Field. Once the grandstands are up, turf's gone, turf's there, the lights are up, 7 o'clock games. You're going to have 500, 600 kids sitting up there screaming out for their Saints fans. I love it.
So Fat, you want to give us a little breakdown? How did the women's team get the 2-0 win to Southern Wesleyan? As he looks at me crazily, I thought he had it pulled up. I've got it actually up for you right now. In the 18th minute, this is pretty much the win at Southern Wesleyan was the Zoe Fisher show.
Yes.
The senior transferred in from Lyon State this year. She scored in the at the 18-17 minute mark. She held the keeper. She held her defender and then beat the keeper in a 1v1 situation and got the goal. And then again, Zoe Fisher, the 75th minute, she blasted in, flicked the ball past the last defender, got a chip over the keeper and assist to Gabby Reed.
Yeah. And, Zoe and Gabby up front, there's not a whole lot that you can say bad about them at all. They are just meshing so well up top that, one will make a flick and the other knows that they're going to make the run. The other one will make the flick, they know that they're going to make the run. It's some kind of chemistry up top that those 2 have that I haven't seen in a very long time here in women's soccer.
they're right now they're the top 2 scoring tandem in the conference. Gabby leads is a tied for the lead in the conference with 9 goals, and Zoe's 2 behind her at 7. The only 2 comparable are Belmont Abbey's Skyers and Phillip with 8 and 7 respectively. Those 2 right there, basically Gabby's more of a holding role, and Gabby's more taking off down the field. She's making the runs, and Zoe's playing more in the holding role, but they are quite the tandem. And then Limestone winning again. They went on, get the 3-2 win over King, which was kind of a seesaw affair. I mean, it really looked like Limestone was going to take off and win this thing pretty easily.
Well, I tell you, Trey, at the beginning of the match, I thought it was going to be the Gabriella Reed show, just like Southern Wesleyan was the Zoe Fisher show. The first 8 minutes and 16 seconds of the game, Gabby had 2 goals.
Talk about this.
I mean,
you were on the field.
Yeah, I was on the field. I was doing ball boy again, running around, trying to get a little exercise in. But no, the first goal, I mean, it's just, when you watch her play, it's just pure athleticism. I mean, that's the only word that I can say to explain what Gabby does on the field. Just being able to make a run with the ball, and it makes the defenders look like they're, just lead-footed. She runs right past them. The way she can maneuver past the goalie with her little patented chip shot over the goalie, it's just incredible. But like I said, the first 2 goals staked the Saints to a 2-0 lead, 8 minutes and 16 seconds in. But King, being the good conference opponent that they are, didn't go away. They fought as hard as they could. Actually got a goal right before the half off of a rebound. I believe it was number 9. I don't remember her name.
Catherine Walsh, number 9.
Catherine Walsh took a ball off the rebound, and I mean, she just put her right foot to it and blasted it. I was standing maybe 10 yards from her, and I mean, she really hit that one well. So we took a 2-1 lead in the halftime. Come out in the second half, and I tell you, King's offense, they controlled the second half to start. There wasn't many opportunities on our offensive end, so that just means our defense played extremely well. Our freshman goalie, Alexis Dunbar, had a ball ricochet off of her, off of a free kick. It ricocheted off her arms and just happened to find the back of the net. And most freshmen, they're going to get down on that. It's going to be stuck in their head, and maybe they're not focused. But she is wise beyond her years when it comes to soccer. With the score knotted at 2-2. Of course, Gabby scored again. She got her all-impressive hat trick, which was just, I mean, she's incredible. But holding on to a 1-goal lead, Alexis made some of the best saves that I've seen. I mean, how tall is she? I mean, she's next to 5'2".
5'2", exactly.
I mean, she's 5'2", and King placed some balls in the box that I knew just there were goals. And her little 5'2" self jumped up like Mighty Mouse and punched the ball over the crossbar.
She may have just earned herself a nickname right there.
Mighty Mouse.
I mean, it reminds me of the little cartoon where he's got his cape on, he's up in the air with his fist up in the air. I mean, that's what it looked like.
We're laughing at it. You're right. It's exactly what it looked like. She was barely getting fingertips at times, but she was pushing them over the crossbar.
She was pushing the ball over the crossbar. And then the defense on the ensuing corner kicks, did their part. And they came out with a huge 3-2 win.
Yeah, definitely.
To keep pace with Converse in the top of the standings.
Yeah, going right into that as well. We go into Converse tomorrow. And that is a huge game in the conference. Huge game.
Who would have thought? Converse.
We kind of talked about that a little bit in the first episode, where we were talking about Converse has really developed this year into a very quality soccer team. They are perfect in the conference right now.
11-1 overall.
11-1 overall. So you think Converse women's soccer is doing as well as the men's Saints soccer team right now? Mm-hmm. And it's amazing to me. I would have never expected that going into this year, seeing what I've seen from Converse over the years that I've been here. But you can give them all the credit in the world.
If you look at our remaining schedule and Converse's remaining schedule, if we can go into Spartanburg tomorrow and pull out a win, we've got a really good chance in earning first place in the conference. Converse has a really tough schedule. They have Pfeiffer, Belmont Abbey,
And us.
And us. You can't forget about us. We do make that schedule.
I mean, we are a given. So
as it sits right now, Converse, as we mentioned, 6-0 in the league right now. Limestone's 5-1-1. Pfeiffer's 5-1-1, and Belmont Abbey's 5-2. As fact eloquently pointed out, if Limestone gets the victory tomorrow at Spartanburg, their brand new facility, very beautiful facility over there, I've been told. If they get the win with the Converse's remaining schedule, Limestone could lock up the women's soccer team, their first ever conference championship program history.
Yeah.
And it's right there. So now to the ladies, what we say to the ladies right now, go take it. This is your moment.
Handle
Go
your business.
seize it.
Yeah,
Go
definitely.
seize it.
We can't be any prouder of those ladies this year, and I'm sure Coach Smith has the exact same feelings. He's super excited going into tomorrow, ready to play, ready to take it on, head forward. But
And they can't have any slip-ups after that. But, I mean, you look at it, they have Mount Olive, so they're there. They still got Erskine left in the league. It goes back again. Take care of business at Converse. A lot of the rest of it can work itself out.
Yeah.
You're a better team than them if you play the way out that we've seen you play this year. And when you have Zoe Fisher, you have Gabby Reed, you have that great defense, you have Mighty Mouse back in the cage.
Mighty Mouse.
And you got a pretty good team.
Just to let you know, all the Saints fans, tomorrow, if you want to watch that game at Converse, 6 p.m., go to limestonesaints.com. There is live video.
There is.
Yes. It says right here on the website, video. So
that's something new for Converse as well.
That's gonna be a good match if you really want to follow Limestone sports.
Come on out. 6 o'clock, Spartanburg.
Spartanburg.
20-minute drive.
Right now, definitely.
Go right up 85. Maybe you can holler at the beacon when you get done.
Holler at the beacon. I love the Southern
we
drawl.
are not promoted by Beacon, but we would be okay being promoted by the Beacon.
Or just enjoy some food from the beacon.
Maybe we'll reach out for the sponsorship later. But, hey, you know what? That's all about the pitch, man. Men's soccer, women's soccer. How you guys feeling about that?
What incredible. I mean,
Incredible.
That both those teams right now, I just really, congratulations to both of them. You're having fantastic seasons. You set yourself up to even bigger success. Because unlike the men, even though the men will get the region, they'll get in because they'll be high enough in the region. They don't have the automatic fit. But the girls right now have the perfect opportunity. You can lock up the number 1 seed. You can host the rest of the way through out here at Saints Field. And if you win the conference tournament, you're going to the NCAAs. You will go to the NCAAs. That's the mission that they have in front of them right now. Cannot take their eyes off the prize.
Definitely. Well, speaking of congratulations, boys, you know what's in order here. All right. Woo! Football. Second win ever. Second win ever. Program record in wins in a season. we laugh about that every week whenever something big happens. That's always a program record. But it's seriously.
It's a program record.
It's always a program record, and that's something you got to look forward to every week. But still, a big win over Payne. Was it 47-30? I believe.
47-30.
I did not have the luxury of being at this game. I really wish I could have. But boys, talk about a little bit about the experience there.
Can I say this, Ferris? Interception.
That absolutely was the key to the game. Our defense played lights out. The 30 points doesn't speak anything to what the defense showed.
No.
101-yard interception return to seal the game. How incredible is that?
And Titus Williams, when he got it, he was like a rocket down the field. But Limestone had three defensive touchdowns in this game. They gave him 30 points, but you also scored 21, so you almost outscored them anyway.
You realistically think that he gave up only 9 points there with the trade-off. And that's a great way to look at it when you're talking about defense. 101-yard interception return. That's unheard of ever happening. You see James Harrison did it back in the Super Bowl.
Oh.
And that was, I hope everybody's Steeler fans are going to love that because everybody remembers that. But, 101 yards, that's a long way to go.
They also had a 55-yarder by Joshua Simmons, who...
He's just an interception machine.
How many is that now? 3 or 4?
That's 4. He had 3 in one game.
He had 3 in just the College of the Faith game, yeah.
Yeah, and
can we show a little bit of love to the big man, though?
Oh,
Hot Rod Oglesby.
Roderick
Little
Oglesby.
Gaffney love.
He got his 2-yard fumble recovery right there to put us up 19-0 at that time. But
I've never seen kids with more smiles on that sideline than Saturday. It was an awesome sight. It was an all around great game. Coaches executed the game plan. Players came in willing to accept the game plan, to trust in the coaches, and it was spectacular.
let's get into it a little bit. Starting out that game, Jonathan Clark got the start for us.
Very efficient.
Very efficient. He wasn't very used very much in the first few weeks. Didn't see the field. I think he got in the field last week. What was it, North Greenville?
Yeah.
For the first time. 19 of 25, 194 yards, 3 TDs, and a pick. Mostly what they tried to get him to do is they were trying to hit a lot of screen plays, a lot of short, get the ball out, don't make heavy decisions. They're quick 1-2 read plays, get it out. The key thing is get it out quickly. And he did that. Just like you said, they executed the game plan. And he kept finding his favorite target, 5 catches for 96 yards, Deontay Fleming. Then also got the touchdown.
Who had that? I believe he had a 67-yard touchdown.
He did.
As well. Early on in the second half.
Clark rolled out to his right and hit him with it was a bullet.
One play, 67 yards.
It was a bullet. He hit him with a bullet on the far sideline, and Fleming made a nice little juke move on the defender, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah,
he was gone.
And Fleming, a local kid from Greer.
Yep, Greer, South Carolina.
That
Big
kid's got
shout
some
out, Yellow
wheels.
Jackets.
That kid's got some wheels.
Yeah, he would. He made me tired watching him run. He was.
He's normally the one we see on the end rounds and his trickery. Speaking of trickery, what about the fake punt? We got Riverboat Bobby over here. As Fabian was pointing out on Limestone Football.
We were sitting up in the box, and our punter lined up at wideout. You had to know something was going on. I was like, no way they're going to run this.
I'm sitting in you're in the other box. I'm sitting in the AV room. We're running with the scoreboard, me and Jordan Bagwell. And I'm sitting there yelling in the box. I'm like, there's no punter. What are they doing? There's no punter. And you got the one white kid on their team back there returning the punt. And I'm like, something's not right here.
I was telling my stat man, Kenny Phillips, I said, they're going to have to get a timeout. They don't even have a punter out there. Who's going to kick the ball? What's he going to do, throw it? And then they snapped the ball, and, he was gone. Big pickup, led to a score. It was a huge part in the game. Which, first-year program, you have nothing to lose. Just go out and play all out. Have fun.
Again, though, Riverboat Bobby, he has not been shy. He's onside kicking to start the games, fake punts. Has he done a fake field goal yet? I can't remember.
I don't believe he's done a fake field goal yet.
Yeah,
but you know what? Onside kick to start the year.
To start your program history, you onside kick the ball. Way to go, Bobby.
Then the defense held him out anyway.
But still, it's great. And that was a great win to see on Saturday. But we got looking forward here this Saturday coming up. Tomorrow,
it's gonna be a tough one, Mikey.
They they left today. They got on the buses today to drive down to Fort Valley State. And yes, Matt, Fat Maris, it's gonna be a tough one, man. It is going to be a very tough one.
By the way, I can't get used to calling you Fat Maris on the air.
It's gonna be taking a little while, yeah.
Yeah, I just have to work with it because that's my lifelong nickname.
Yeah, that's true.
You're Fat Maris at Fat Maris 21.
Is that really your Twitter name?
It is. That is my Twitter name. That is also my Facebook name. So shout out.
With that, go ahead and talk to us a little bit about Fort Valley State this weekend.
Fort Valley State, it's everybody knows that's a rich tradition when it comes to football.
NFL players galore.
They love their football at Fort Valley State. Right now they're sitting at a 4-2 record, and they're scoring points. And they're not doing it through the air, which our guys, they, like we said before, love taking passes back to the other way for 6. But they have a 3-headed rushing attack with Otis Brown, Malcolm Eady, and Jalen White. Each of these kids have amassed over 300 yards apiece.
They're averaging about 50 yards a game.
Yeah, about 50 yards a game. So it's a tough little trio. Out of the 12 rushing touchdowns on the year, these 3 guys have 11 of them. So that's saying something. They love the ground and pound. They love to just run the ball down your throat and say, here it is, try to stop us.
Of course, they're averaging about a little over 160 yards a game on the ground. And when you're that efficient on the ground, then you're just adding 168 on offense, you're going to score. And that's credit to their 4-2 right now. That's why.
Definitely. And you know, the Saints are going to have a little bit of a hard time, I think, managing having 3 different guys, always going to be rotating through, always going to be fresh when they need them. And, you know, if you're not smart about rotating your linemen, rotating your linebackers coming through, then, you know, you might see some easy runs going through the middle. But I think that Saints defensive line with, you know, Oglesby and all of them, I think they'll have a pretty good game against that rushing attack.
The key is anytime you have a team that rushes the ball like that, you're going to have to be disciplined. That's on the defensive line. Know your
You have to
assignment.
stay home.
Stay on. Know your assignment. Don't get out of position, and just make the open tackles that are there. Don't whiff. No try shoulder tackles. No arm tackles. Wrap them up. Put them on the ground. Get your offense back on the field. Looking at what Fort Valley State's done a little bit. They opened up the year. They lost to a really great Delta State program, 56-13.
Yeah, they're usually in the pretty high up in the playoffs.
They're always,
I think
yeah.
they were.
They're always in the playoffs, Chase.
Yeah.
And they beat Savannah State 42-28. Then they beat Clark Atlanta University 1918. Then they beat Benedict out of Columbia, South Carolina, 33-30 in Columbia on a 40-yard game winner with 2.2 seconds left on the clock. They lost to Tuskegee, the Tuskegee Airmen, 35-28. He came back and beat Kentucky State last week, 36-21 at Wildcat Stadium. So the Saints make their first ever trip down to the Peach State and take on Fort Valley.
Well, not only their first ever trip to the Peach State, but it's their first game outside of South Carolina.
First overnight trip.
Yeah, an overnight trip for these guys. I mean, it's going to be exciting. I'm sure the coaches have prepped really well throughout the week. I know our guys are going to come out ready to play. The outcome of the game, you know, may not go in our favor, but I guarantee you these kids are going to come out fighting. But we speak about Fort Valley State's running backs. What about our one-headed monster, DeAnthony Neal?
He's had quite a heck of a year, man.
This kid, 448 yards on the season, averaging 5 yards a carry. I'm no rocket scientist, but if you average 5 yards a carry, you're going to get quite a few first downs. So, I mean, 5 touchdowns in 6 games. He broke off a long 44-yarder last week. I mean, the kid is he's averaging 75 yards a game. He's a workhorse back there.
But I do believe, though, I'm not trying to give out any insider tips. I think he may not play this week. He got a little bit of a shoulder issue. So Bernard Merriweather's going to be trying to probably carry the majority of the load. Even if he plays, he's going to try the majority of the load. But he's capable, too. He's averaging around 4 yards a carry.
Yeah.
So Limestone's okay either way they go right here. The key right now, they got to stay on the field. They got to continue to not make the mistakes that they have in games where they, let's just be frank, they shoot themselves in the foot. They're on-force mental errors most of the time. The key, that's going to happen with any young team. When you have a young team, you have young players, they're going to make mistakes. The thing for them to go now is when you make the mistake, to not let that mistake make the next mistake.
Yeah.
Because it compounds upon itself. So now they got to learn at this point of the season, and as they go into the future, as they continue to grow, is to shrug mistakes off. Don't let one mistake become the next mistake. And I think if they do that, they'll hang this weekend with a tradition-rich Fort Valley State. I mean, let's be honest. This is a good program they're going to go play this weekend.
Yeah. So speaking about this weekend, football team going down to Fort Valley State. That kickoff's at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. A few other Saints teams in action this weekend. Men's and women's swimming team are traveling up to Salisbury, North Carolina. I get to go up to Salisbury tomorrow. It's going to be great fun. They're going to take on Catawba. First splash in that is 1 o'clock.
Tell us a little bit about Catawba.
You know, Catawba's swim team has gotten a lot smaller over the past couple of years. They only have about 8 guys and about 10 girls on their team compared to the 16 women and the 24 men that we have on our team. So it's going to be a little interesting to see how they plan out their meet using their people, because you can only swim 3 individual events in a meet like this.
Wow.
So it'll be interesting to see how they use their 8 across the board. But you can never guarantee anything in the swimming world. So, but then we got field hockey here, like we were talking about earlier, senior day here versus Lindenwood. Like Matt mentioned, DCAC rematch from last year. It's going to be a great day to celebrate those seniors' accomplishments from the past 4 years. Women's volleyball. I know you guys are heading down to North Greenville tomorrow.
Greenville,
We got North Greenville. First serve there is 1 o'clock in Tigerville.
Before that, though, the Southern Wesleyan tonight.
Oh yeah, that's right. Southern Wesleyan tonight. Look at you. It's almost like you know what you're doing.
They've done this for a little while.
Well, yeah. So,
He
so
comes
yeah,
work every now and then.
our women's volleyball team does play in Central tonight against Southern Wesleyan. 7:00 first serve there. So North Greenville at 1:00 tomorrow, Saturday. Then they play against Winston-Salem State University at 3:00 as well. And then, as we were talking, big soccer matchup tomorrow at Converse with our women, 6:00. First kick there.
And so that'll be our weekend. There's nothing on Sunday.
Nothing on
We're not
Sunday.
we may no rain. Let's not jinx it.
Yeah. Please no.
Well, I know they're not playing volleyball on Sunday.
Nothing on Sunday, nothing on Monday.
So we'll know after this weekend. Some of the volleyball will shake out a little bit. That again, they're still in a roll right now. So have a lot to play for. They're seeing a game back right now. First place Erskine in the region. So if they pick up 2 big wins this weekend, they could be. We'll seriously be looking at them making some noise going into the postseason play. But as always, we're going to wrap up our second edition of Break the Rock podcast. If you'd like to find more information about us, about Break the Rock, about Limestone Athletics in general, please visit www.golimestonesaints.com. You'll find everything, every schedule, every roster, every stat. You may see my pretty face if you look at the staff directory.
You won't see ours
You
yet.
won't see ours yet.
We're working on it, gentlemen. You'll see this. You can also find the Break the Rock podcast. If you scroll down a little halfway down the page, you'll see the YouTube link. You can go there and watch it. We will be working on getting this onto iTunes and to other podcasting platforms
Yes.
in the future.
Potting in progress.
Potting in progress.
Okay.
We'll try to put it on the door today. Luckily, we only had one looky-loo looking in. If you want to also follow Limestone, you can follow us on Twitter at Limestone Saints, at Facebook.com/Limestone Athletics. If you'd like to follow us, boys, hand out your Twitter handles.
At FatMaris21, that's FATT Maris 21.
At M Sanders Swim.
And I'm at Trey Bloomer, just my name. If you'd like to follow us, tweet us your questions. We'd love to, as we move along, to take your questions. We'll add that part of our podcasts, if they're any good, humanoids. If not, please, thank you so much for listening in. We received a lot of positive feedback last time. We really enjoyed this. So until next time, boys, this is us signing out. See ya.